Hey everybody, it's Jax again from your Popcorn Review Podcast. This is my episode 94, AEW Dynamite Kenny Omega's title celebration. Now, I have a few people missing from this week. We didn't see MJF. That's one of the big draws there. We didn't see Tekla, or we didn't see the Triangle of Madness or the Sisters of Sin, but we did have a lot of people show up today. You have Copeland and Yuta. Sorry, you had Copeland and Cage versus Yuta and Garcia. This was kind of like an aftermath of the Death Riders apparently rolling with the Dogs to attack the tag team champions. Thought that was a little odd. They're kind of playing two stories, or how they say, the devil and the angel on the shoulders, one telling them good, like they're trying to tell Will, hey, go be the champion, be all good and stuff, and then they're on the back end helping the Dogs go after the tag title. So it was a little weird there, a little weird dynamic. But this match was decent. It showed that the young guns were able to, or the young riders were able to go in there and do what they had to do. They did okay. No, not great. They did okay, but they started putting it on the old guys. And long story short, though, you did have Copeland and Cage win this match. But the biggest thing is the aftermath after the match was right after they lost, they won, had the pin done. You see Claudio and the Dogs come in and they attack Copeland and Cage. And then the Bang Bang Gang comes in and saves the day. Now, Cage is still saying that he does not trust Jay White. Even though Jay White protected him, he grabbed the shillelagh and he went after the Dogs. Christian is still skeptical. Is this going to cause them to drop the titles? Is this going to cause issues with CNC? Is it going to be maybe they didn't want to have a one-on-one match to just, call it quits there? What's going to happen with Copeland and Cage and the Bang Bang Gang? Right now, it looks like Jay White's on their side, but Christian is not convinced. So y'all let me know what y'all think. One thing that was kind of crazy, though, during that match, after Copeland and Cage won, the Bucks were up in the rafters or in the stands watching them. And I expected after they got attacked, they'd be the ones to assist. They actually walked off before the attack happened, never came back out. That's when the Bang Bang Gang came out and saved the day. But Jay White does hand the shillelagh over to Copeland and says, hey, I'm on the same side, don't worry about it. But Christian is still not convinced. What do you guys think's going to happen there? The Demand actually interrupt the Trios champions from the conglomeration. And Ricochet goes, hey, we're not going to put a hand on you. But just know, and as he was talking, boom, Lethal Twist comes out, attacks him. He goes, hey, I said we wasn't going to lay a hand on you. Didn't say they were going to lay a hand on you. They're not part of the Demand now, but could be soon. Do we need another big group? The Don Callis family's already big. We don't need another big group. But let's see how this plays out. I don't see how long they're going to have those trios titles for personally. I think that they won them just because Gabe Kidd got injured. So let's see how this plays out. The Demand could definitely run those trios titles. Lethal Twist could definitely do it. But I think right now they're just a placeholder, and that's just my opinion. They're all three tremendous. I like all of them. I like Roddy. I like Kyle. I like OC. But it's just not, I feel like I'm not getting enough from those three guys as champions. That's just me. You had Andrade with Jake Doyle, and Andrade pretty much before the match started showing off MJF's ring. When they asked what's going on with that, he was like, well, I got good friends. Is that Will Ospreay, she says? How you know? And then, he's got his new shirt on. He comes out with his mask and a few ladies escorting him to the ring. And he comes out. He actually doesn't even take his shirt off for half the match. He's wrestling, takes the shirt off, and he's got the F Don Callis underneath again. And him and Jake Doyle had a decent match, honestly, a great match. I'm not gonna lie. Andrade was doing his thing. He's more of a high flyer, could also be a hard hitting guy. Jake Doyle was just a monster. They said that we had 265, 270, and he was part of the match, ragdolling Andrade. Great match, honestly. We all knew that Andrade was going to win. It was just a matter of when or how he was going to win personally. So after the match, he beats Jake Doyle, and then you have Mark Davis come out, try to attack him, kind of like showing his title off, like, yeah, you coming for this, you coming for this. He's like, yeah, come on. He puts his ring on. Sorry, MJF's Dynamite Diamond ring on. He tells him, come on, come get it. You don't get in. But Andrade does have a match with Jake Doyle for the national championship at Redemption. So he won his title match, or he won his match to get his title shot. Kenny Omega celebration, he comes out, Tony Schiavone invites him out, and they had like the Omega symbol behind him with different pictures or different areas of him being a champion in AEW. It was pretty nice. Kind of lackluster, to be honest with you. He comes out, though, wearing MJF's Triple B belt. Before he could even talk, the Young Bucks come out wearing their blue New Day t-shirts. Sorry, Buck t-shirts. And they have a bag. Of course, we knew what was going to happen there. They tell him, hey, I'm happy you're champion, but I'm not happy the belt you're rocking with. So here's the traditional AEW World Championship. Now, it would have been cool if they would have did something different. His side plates, and I don't like the AEW side plates. I don't. Kenny Omega's actually look pretty cool. Most of them that I've seen, I think it takes away from the title, but Kenny Omega's actually looks like it fits that title. And maybe because it has a little black in the insert. But that's just me. I could just be the only one. I thought it was kind of foolish for him to go to the side plates, but it is what it is. But they hand Kenny Omega the traditional title, and then Will Ospreay comes out and wants to have a conversation. And man, oh man, did he give Kenny Omega his flowers. He tells Kenny, you're a hero to me. When I think of AEW, I think of Kenny Omega. He goes, I cannot wait for us to wrestle at Wembley. He goes, it's going to be a real life Vegeta versus Goku. Ooh, that gave me goosebumps when he said that. If anybody's a Dragon Ball Z fan, when those two fight, you feel that. Goku's just a happy-go-lucky guy, and Vegeta's been chasing him and chasing him and chasing him his entire life, or their entire friendship. So Goku, and I guess in this scenario, is Kenny Omega, and Vegeta is Will Ospreay, which makes sense. When Will first started, when he first showed up to AEW, he was the bad guy. And now he's a frenemy. And what happens with Goku? He befriends a lot of people after he fights them, and they become his friends after the defeat. Can this be the time that Vegeta beats Goku? I think so. I think Will Ospreay will defeat Kenny Omega. Sucks it's going to be a short reign, a couple months. But I think Kenny Omega is going to drop the title to Will Ospreay. This may be Kenny Omega's last run ever for the championship. The way they made it look like he was wrestling MJF surely looked like it. I can definitely see it being the case now, but it was a good. A lot of fans went crazy when they mentioned Vegeta versus Goku. So they must be in our age bracket, or they just love anime and Dragon Ball Z. It was just, it gave me goosebumps hearing it, but this is going to be a real life Vegeta versus Goku. And Will Ospreay is always saying I'm on another level. And Kenny Omega did say during this that I'm going to be the best Kenny Omega you've ever seen in AEW. Holy shit, we're in for a ride, guys. Wouldn't it be cool if they actually come in dressed up in blue and orange for Kenny, and white, yellow, or white, gold, and blue for the Saiyan armor for Will Ospreay? Holy shit. If they can get the rights to do that, that'd be fucking perfect, guys. I'd be so amped to see that. But, a lot of people kept saying you deserve a chant to Kenny. And again, he did promise he's going to have the best Kenny Omega that we've ever seen. Will Ospreay's out there. The way he's been acting with the Death Riders, I wasn't sure if he was going to attack him in turn. And I was like, that kind of sucks. Just go at each other in the ring one-on-one. No one needs to turn to do your thing. And for a minute, I thought he was, and he didn't. You had Kevin Knight actually interrupt before they shook hands and said, hey, I see you at Wembley. Kevin Knight comes out and goes, hey, don't forget about me. I was promised a shot by MJF. And Kenny goes, I don't owe you shit. If MJF sleazy ass made you a deal, that's nothing I got to do with me. But he does tell Kevin, you remind me a lot of me. And I thought one time I needed Don Callis, but I didn't. He goes, you won that TNT championship without Don Callis. He goes, I'll give you a shot only because I want to see you be successful here. But just let it be me and you. The one kid I saw a few years ago that showed that fire to me, that showed that he can be the next guy up. Bring that guy. Don't bring the guy that's Don Callis' bitch. And he sounded like he was, looking like, oh, I get it. But then he attacks Kenny. Will Ospreay goes for Kevin. Kevin dips out. Darby Allin jumps in, attacks Kevin. Fucking Brian Cage comes in, attacks Darby. The whole fucking Don Callis family comes out, about to jump on Kenny and Will and Darby. And then out of nowhere, the Death Riders come out. I don't know what kind of game the Death Riders are playing, like I mentioned earlier. They're assisting Will Ospreay, but they're doing that because they want a favor from him later on. But then at the same time, they're trying to help the dogs beat CNC later, Copeland and Cage later. I just don't get their dynamic there. But you are going to see Kenny versus Kevin Knight at Redemption for the AEW Men's World Championship. It's going to be a good match as it does first time ever. I think it's going to lose, but I just don't want them to get involved. Just let Kevin do his thing in there. Jack Perry pretty much puts everybody on notice. I'm going to help the next ones up. I have an open challenge at Collision. Who wants to see me? So we'll see. I don't know who's going to answer the call. Is it going to be somebody we've never seen before? Someone who just signed with AEW? I don't know. Bro Dito versus Nick and Aaron Solo. I'm not gonna lie. Brodito could be tag team champions again. I wonder if they're building them up to take the titles off of CNC later down the future. So every time I see Brodito, for the most part, they're winning their matches. I think they might have won 8 or 9 out of 10. Now, this match, I thought was going to be a squash match. It was actually really fast. Once I saw it, I was like, I haven't seen these two guys on Dynamite in a minute. They're going to lose, like, especially to Brodito. And that's exactly what happened. But they got kind of excited after the match. They go back, they interrupt Kyle Fletcher before his match, and Brodito takes his paper or his wanted poster and posts it on Kyle Fletcher's chest, the Protostar. He took that very, very offensively. Right after that, Kyle Fletcher does have a match with the Commander. Now, holy shit, this match was really fucking good. Now, they said that, he put an open challenge out. Commander accepted it. But again, amazing match. Kyle Fletcher could sell his ass off. Commander could sell his ass off. I've definitely seen Commander lately in AEW. He's been there, Ring of Honor, AAA. Not AAA, sorry, CMLL. He's been there. Commander's been doing his thing. This match showed out. Kyle Fletcher is helping these other guys that we haven't seen look great. Like, Commander was fucking moving against Kyle Fletcher. Like, and we already said that Kyle Fletcher is going to be one of the next AEW World Champions. So if he's letting these other guys, not letting, but helping these other guys build themselves up during matches, he's doing exactly what MJF was doing. He built up Kevin. He built up Speedball. He built up Mark Briscoe. Some of these guys, people didn't think they were main event caliber, but they were in a main event for a world title. And we already said that Kyle Fletcher's going to be a world champion soon. So he's building these other guys up, doing the same thing. That is fucking amazing. People say you can't build new stars. That's what AEW is doing. Yes, they have people from TNA. Yes, they have people from New Japan. Yes, they have people from other places. But there's a bunch of people in AEW that came straight from the indies that no one knew who they were, especially me. I'm not even going to lie. There's a lot of people that I had no idea that were this good at wrestling. Commander, never seen him until he got to AEW. Kevin Knight, never seen him before he got to Speedball, never seen him before. Kyle Fletcher, never seen him before he got to AEW. Will Ospreay, never seen him before he got to AEW. Now, yes, a lot of people are going to say these people are in New Japan. Yes, I stopped watching New Japan years ago. And all of a sudden, a lot of the wrestlers are coming from New Japan. A lot of the wrestlers are coming from Stardom. A lot of the wrestlers are coming from overseas. It's fucking amazing. Like, I'm happy I'm getting to see all these people. Now, Kyle Fletcher does win this match. It was a fantastic match. Please go watch it. Kyle Fletcher wins the match, attacks Commander after the fact. Actually tries to rip Commander's mask off his face. Brodito comes out, kind of saved the day. But you did have an issue that Takeshita that came out for a little bit, helped him out, and they fought over the title. So now you have Okada. Takeshita came out, fought over the title. Okada comes out, helps Kyle with Takeshita. But then they grab the title and they start tugging on it and they're face to face. So it's like Okada and Kyle are also going to have problems for that title in the future. Don Callis blamed Takeshita. You going to blame Kyle too? Or you going to blame Okada? Because Okada's the problem. Y'all had no issues till Okada joined. Just saying. But I see it down the future. Okada is going to have a problem because he doesn't have the title. After a while, though, the match or whatever, that whole segment, you had Kyle goes, Bandito, you want a shot? He goes, no problem. I'm going to show you that I'm the best international champion you've ever seen. I'm the best. Okada was standing by him. He looked pissed. He was like, what? What are you talking about? So there's definitely going to be something boiling with those two. I think Okada's the one to leave personally. I don't think Don Callis would let Kyle Fletcher leave. He's kind of the leader in that group. He's the biggest star. To me, Kyle Fletcher is the biggest star. You let Takeshita go. You let Andrade go. Kyle Fletcher's your last big star. The other guys are just some Goombas or some goons. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Brian Cage does have a match with Darby, and Jesus, Brian Cage is a fucking monster. Ragdolling Darby. Threw Darby against the pole. Suplexed Darby onto the ramp. Like, he threw Darby around the ring, left and right and center. Like, he just tossed him around. Brian Cage got away over 300 pounds. Like, there's no way. To Darby's 160 if he's lucky, soaking wet. Now, Darby does win this match with a few coffin drops. There was actually a sequence Darby did. He took his belt off after he got his ass whooped for a while. He swept the legs of Brian Cage on the steel steps. Coffin drop Brian Cage on the steel steps, pushes him into the ring. Coffin drops him 2 more times in the ring, and then 1, 2, 3. Good match. You knew Darby was going to win. Darby's got an issue with Kevin Knight. So next week, Kevin Knight and Darby wrestle for the TNT Championship. I don't know if Darby wins this personally, because I don't think they're going to let Kevin lose his title and then lose to Kenny Omega on top of that at Redemption. So I think Kevin squeaks by with this one, even if it's to help with the Don Callis family. but we'll see. Later on, you had the Don Callis family go, "Yo, Kenny Omega, don't try to change this man's mind. Don't try to talk to Kevin or whatever." And he keeps interrupting Kevin. Actually, takes the mic, and Kevin doesn't talk. So Kevin's already seeing what Kenny was saying. Speedball also tries to talk to Kevin. I don't think Kevin changing anytime soon. I think it's too fast, but we'll see. Apparently, Darby's going to beat the brakes off of him next week. But I don't see Kevin losing the title and then losing at Redemption a week later. Just don't see it happening. But y'all let me know. It was pretty crazy. Now you did have Divine Dominion and Mercedes-Mone, CEO, come into the ring versus Willa, Maya, and Haina. Sorry if I said that wrong. And this match was good as fuck. Like I am shocked. We already know Maya World can go, Willow can go, Mercedes can go, Divine Dominion can go. Lahaina, wow, you impress the shit out of me. Even if Maya World doesn't go for the world championship anytime soon, maybe she'll go for mid card. But I can maybe see you two going in there and stealing the titles off of Divine Dominion. It's y'all did your thing. Like I am impressed. Went toe to toe with the big girls because Megan Bain and Cross are tall as shit. They overtower shit. Even Willow. Willow's I think like 5 something, like 5'11", 5'10". But Maya World and her tag team partner Hina, they're small compared to the Divine Dominion, and it's night and day. It's like this, you know. But they did their thing. All the girls showed out. All the girls were doing their thing. They let her rock though. They let Hina rock. She was going off on Mercedes, going off on Cross, going off on Bane. Long story short, though, she's the one who ate the pin, and it always makes sense. She's the lesser one that everyone knows. Maya World is real big right now. Willow's real big. They're not going to let Willow lose before a championship match. And of course, you're not going to let the tag team champions lose as well. So it makes sense. Mercedes pins her. And what they said was the Divine Dominion with CEO was too much for them. It was a good match, guys. Pay-per-view or headlined, main event, those ladies. Maya World's been blowing up right now. Her tag team partner, Hannah, I see that being the same thing. Even if they don't win world championship gold, I see them TBS tag team champions. They got the women's pure champion, women's Ring of Honor champion, television champion. I definitely see them winning some titles there. They were doing their thing. I am impressed by this match. People gonna talk down about it, but honestly, it was really good. It was a good night of it. It was a good episode of Dynamite again. So far, I would say in the last month or so, there's been like one episode I was unhappy with, and so far they just been stacking that or raising that bar more higher and higher. So great episode of Dynamite. Kenny Omega is his traditional AEW World Championship. But other than that, guys, it was a great episode of Dynamite. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.